What's up, Acolyte Squad? My name is Prince, and I'm an urban acolyte. We've been talking a lot about Grogu. Will Luke Skywalker show up in The Mandalorian in season 2, 3, or maybe 4? What's going to happen with him? Some people feel it'll be fan service to have Luke Skywalker there in The Mandalorian, but I'm going to tell you exactly why Luke Skywalker is not going to train Grogu. Yeah, this is not the video that I intended to do this morning at all. Um, and I apologize for the quality of the video, but those of y'all who've been here, you know we're packing to move this week. And my tripods, my little lavalier mic, everything is already packed. Only thing not packed is my computer, so that I can continue to try to kick out videos until we've completely moved out and we're in our new place in Bangkok. So I'm looking forward to having a studio again and making those kind of videos that I was making back in the US. But anyway, I was intending to talk to you guys about why The Last Jedi Luke is the best Luke Skywalker, and that was based on an Alan Watts lecture that I fell asleep listening to last night. But as I was trying to look up something about that I needed to tell you guys about Luke's time in between when we saw him in Return of the Jedi and The Last Jedi, I stumbled upon something that the dates that I didn't really understand. The dates of when Luke Skywalker was traversing the galaxy, doing the stuff that is the stories that are recounted in the legend of Luke Skywalker, and then things like we saw him finding Jakku cache of information that she stored for someone to find to rebuild the Jedi Order, and then Luke's Jedi temple that he constructed with his students. We've seen images of that from the Rise of Kylo Ren, that 4-issue comic book. We actually see some of Luke's students. We saw the students that disappeared along with Ben. People thought that they went on to become the Knights of Ren. Well, now that we have kind of not the full story, but we've got a bigger picture of the story, that's not the case at all. The Knights of Ren were already out there, and like I had been saying all along, the Knights of Ren were there. Ben Solo left the Jedi Order, turned and burned and turned, however, whatever order you want to put that in, and he joined a gang. Just like the concept art said, he joined a gang. He went and joined the Knights of Ren. We now know that they called their that lightsaber the Ren, and so he killed the leader, and created his own lightsaber, and he became Kylo Ren, the leader, right? He was the one with the lightsaber, right? So what I uncovered was that, one, we saw it in The Rise of Skywalker. Luke took on Leia as his apprentice, as his student. After the events in Return of the Jedi, Leia got pregnant with Ben, and I'm guessing this would have been during the time of Aftermath, because she gets pregnant with Ben, or realizes she I don't remember the order. Maybe she was already pregnant, but it was already, yeah, she trained with Luke before Aftermath, before the second book, when she's meditating, because by then she's learned how to meditate, and she senses the Force in her unborn child. That's when she's aware that she's pregnant, that she is conceived child, she's with child, and she senses the presence of the dark side of the Force, right? With light, there's also darkness, right? And and that goes back to one of those Jedi prophecies. I think it's she who is born in the darkness will give birth to darkness, something like that. And it's like, Luke and Leia are born during the dark time, the rise of the Empire, the revenge of the Sith, and then she gives birth to darkness, meaning Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, or the thing with prophecies is that they are timeless. That particular prophecy could play out somewhere else in Star Wars, and we'll just have to wait and see, right? But after Luke, his experience trying to train Leia then he kind of realizes, I'm not really up to par, I'm not really up to snuff with training, taking on another student. I'm not ready yet. So 5 years after the Battle of Yavin, right? This would be after the Battle of Jakku and all of that, all of the stuff in aftermath. The Battle of Jakku, Luke was there. Luke saves a bunch of people on Jakku, and that's one of the legends of Luke Skywalker, is how he participated in the Battle of Jakku and then got stranded there on Jakku, and he saved a bunch of scavengers or people who were already there on Jakku. At that time, there weren't really scavengers. It was like a bunch of pilgrims and people who were unfortunately stuck there. You know, they were orphans who belonged to some kind of like taken in by some kind of religious cult, right? Almost like you're at a Catholic orphanage, but you're not really Catholic, but you have to be Catholic because that's who runs the orphanage, that sort of thing. But after that, Luke was like, I don't really know enough to really be teaching people this Jedi stuff. So then he takes off. So during the time of the Mandalorian, and when Grogu sends out his distress call, it's like Luke is probably is still in that state of mind. I'm still trying to uncover the truth about the Jedi history. I don't know anything about the Sith. Like, I'm out here basically, like I said before, Luke is in pilgrim mode. He's out with Lord Santeca because he's like, this guy's the Church of the Force dude. He knew about the Jedi during the Clone Wars. He would be a good resource to help me kind of track down the origins of the Jedi and to help locate these existing Jedi temples, or at least find, the places where the Empire went in and tore them down. Maybe I can use the Force to sense, something that they left behind, or he was also looking for like the Unity trees, like the saplings, because that's what helped him follow the breadcrumbs back to the Unity tree on Ahch-To, right? So that was another thing he was looking for. So Leia has been, and I said this in the last video about why I don't think Luke or Leia would answer Grogu's call. Leia has been, and then around, like, I'd say the earliest 8 years old, but I'm thinking it really might not have been until he was about 10, we'll say between 9 and 11 years old, right? Ben constructed his lightsaber when he was about 11 years old, 10 or 11, right? So I'm going to give him maybe a year, maybe 2 years. So we'll say between 8 and 11 years old is when Luke took on Ben. Ben was his first student after Leia, right? And then the two of them were doing their thing. They're hanging out. And I'm going to say that when Ben was about 15 years old is when Luke started to take on other students. And he had about 12, less than 20, other students. And it was like, okay, now I need to settle down. We need to build a temple on this remote world. No one's going to know about it. It's just us here. And we're just doing our thing. We're learning about the Force. And that's it. And then, we know what happened. Snoke. At some point, Snoke came into the picture. He was influencing Ben. We don't exactly know when, but Luke laid the smack down on Snoke, and Snoke was injured by Luke Skywalker, and then Snoke continued to talk smack, whisper smack in Ben's ear, and maybe Ben was like, yo man, I'm not hearing this, because young Ben thought Luke was the greatest thing ever. My master's great, my uncle is so powerful and so awesome, and I want to be like him too, right? I really want to be like Han, but you know what? Luke is a good pilot too, and he's got the Force, and he's a hero of the rebellion, and saved, got rid of the Empire, right? But then unfortunately, Luke did like, sorry, I really wish my mic and everything wasn't packed up, and it is what it is, right? I didn't want that stuff packed because I need to make videos, but my wife doesn't know anything about YouTube, so she's like, "Oh, take out your phone, make a video. That's it." Right? It is what it is, right? But so I apologize for all the noise. I can't do anything about it other than wait and not make a video until she's awake and I can record inside. But I needed to get this out because I literally just got through reading this stuff, and it was like I gotta hop on the. That's why I needed a studio, y'all. Like, it was like I see something, I need to hop on the mic, I need to hop in the booth and record it and get it out there, right? Just hurry up and get it out, right? So anyway, in Bloodline, that we know in Bloodline, that's when it came out. Darth Vader was Luke and Leia's father, right? Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader. That's what happened to the hero of the Clone Wars. Somehow he turned to the dark side. We don't understand it, but that's what it is. And Darth Vader and Senator Amidala, Queen Amidala, Senator whatever, Padme, we know. That's their mother. How she could get with a fiend like Darth Vader, we don't know, right? And so Luke did this whole like Buddha type thing, right? What happened with Siddhartha and his father tried to protect Siddhartha from all the bad things in the world because he wanted him to be a great warrior and the king of the world is what one of his predictions were, right? By the great seer who read his fortune when he was a baby. And it was like, well, he's either gonna save the world or rule the world. And it was like, I'm a king, I want him to rule the world, right? I don't want him to save the world because I don't want him to become a hermit and a holy man and be poor and all of that. So he tried to protect him from that, and that's what Luke did with Ben. Was he tried to protect him from everything bad. But I mean, what happened with Siddhartha? Eventually, the truth comes out, right? Just like Han told Finn. Right, eventually they find out. Eventually Ben found out. Right, he found out about Anakin and Darth Vader and all of that, and that's when he started hearing the voices in his head, not just from Snoke, but also from Vader. Right, and I wish they had told us that from the beginning, but there not being a plan, they had to come in and start fixing the story later. Right, and that's why he's speaking to Vader's mask. Is that Palpatine was speaking to him, right? What did Palpatine say? I have been every voice inside your head, right? He's hearing Snoke, he's hearing Vader, he's pitting Vader against Snoke, right? In his mind, right? Grandfather showed me the darkness, right? I thought he had mental health issues, which I thought would have been a great angle to go with, and he kind of did. He had, he was insane in the membrane, insane in the brain, right? Because of Palpatine driving him insane, right? So, when Ben turned and burned, that was about 6 years before it blew up Hosnian Prime, right? So 5 to 6. So really, it was really after Bloodline, right? Because Leia contacted Ben and she had to talk with him to apologize about how he had to find out the truth. And that's when he was like, yo man, I'm out. Like I'm out, right? That's when they had really turned him completely. But that timeline right there is why, and like I said, if Grogu was with Luke and Grogu wasn't among the 3 students who tried to follow Ben and eventually ended up getting killed, the other ones, I mean, I don't know how they died there in the temple, but I mean, we've seen a picture of some of the students I'm not going to repost it here. I'm not going to edit this video at all. I'm just going to post it as is, right? But we don't see Grogu there, right? So it's like I said, if Grogu goes with Luke Skywalker, it's not gonna come out well for him. The other thing is, if he did, Luke doesn't show up. Like, he doesn't take on any other students until Ben is about 15. And right now, where we are in The Mandalorian, Ben is like 4. So it'd be another 10 or 11 years before, I mean, let's say that somehow Grogu wasn't caught up in that. He was one of the students who disappeared right after the temple burned. We'll look at it that way. If he disappeared and he's somewhere out there, and then later, 6, 7, 8 years later, he meets up with Rey and Finn, and whatever they're doing, great. That's awesome. What has he been doing? How did he escape? He's a little bit older, but he's still, what did I say? He'd be about 75, 76. He'd be under 80 at this point. And we don't know like how much he would mature in the next 20, 25 years. But like I said, Luke showing up in The Mandalorian would be great fan service. Oh man, we get to see a young Luke Skywalker in action. Oh man, or maybe he's just there like, hey, what's up? I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm not ready to take on students, but he seems to be happy with you. And then however they do that, DH Mark Hamill or whatever, I don't know. But some people I'm happy that I'm seeing a lot in the comments that some people feel it's unnecessary to have Luke Skywalker. And there's been a big complaint that I'm seeing on Star Wars Twitter, that people are like, yo man, this show is called The Mandalorian, right? Why can't it be about The Mandalorian? I'm like, well, it is, but they feel it isn't, because we're getting all these legacy people from the original saga, people from the Clone Wars. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not like he lives independently from all of them, but yeah, this story ultimately is about Din Djarin and what he's doing with Grogu, right? That set the tone for the story, right? It's their adventure, their experience, and how he's learning about himself through this shared experience, right? And connecting with the bigger galaxy and these other stories that come into contact with his story, or he comes into contact with their stories, right? So Luke has his thing that he's doing, and the feeling that putting Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian is going to retcon the sequel saga, it's not going to retcon anything. Luke is still going to train Kylo Ren when he's about 11 years old. Kylo Ren at 15, or Ben Solo at 15, Luke will take on other Padawans and build his temple after he finds that cache of holocrons and everything else left by Jocasta Nu, and then Ben Solo, his nephew, is going to turn to the dark side and destroy Luke's temple and drive Luke into exile, because not only is his heart broken that his nephew fell to the dark side, right? But we don't think about those other 10 or 11 students who lost their lives because of Ben's decision, right? That's something that gets overlooked. Luke was responsible for all of them, and he failed. He failed Ben, but he failed the ones who died as well, right? And I think that people get caught up in the legend of Luke Skywalker that they've created, and that's really what Luke was trying to point out is, right, there's the legend of Luke Skywalker. It's a meta message in The Last Jedi. Everyone's caught up in the legend of Luke Skywalker that they've forgotten who the man Luke Skywalker is, or they don't know, right? And when they find out, the man doesn't live up to the legend. And that was also something that Luke dealt with, and then in the process he created an even bigger and better legend, right? But I guess those of us who were paying attention, we caught that. So no, I don't really want to see Luke in The Mandalorian, and I don't want baby Grogu, BGZ, to be with Luke. So that's my morning thoughts. That's what I got to share with you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey man, let me know your thoughts below, and I'll be checking back to see what y'all have to say. But that's all I got for this one. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Y'all keep on breathing, and may the force of others be with you always.